Imagine this. Your kid is driving home in the middle of the night. He's taken a shortcut through some rural roads. Gravel, no lights, no signs, just farmland and pitch black sky. His car slides into a ditch, but he's not hurt. He does what anyone would do. He calls his parents. You go pick him up, and he says he can see your headlights in the distance as you drive toward him, but you can't see him. For the next 47 minutes, you're on the phone, walking, chatting, trying to find him. Then suddenly he says, "Oh, and the line goes dead. He vanishes, never to be seen again. This is the true story of Brandon Swanson, and it's one of the most chilling, unexplained disappearances in modern history. Brandon was 19 years old when this happened, a typical small-town kid from Marshall, Minnesota. He'd just finished his first year at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, where he was studying wind energy. It was May 13th, 2008. The semester had ended, so he went out that evening to celebrate with some friends in the nearby town of Canby. From all accounts, it was a low-key night, just a few drinks and some laughs. Nothing wild. Witnesses said Brandon didn't seem intoxicated. He left sometime around midnight to drive the 30 miles back home to Marshall in his green Chevy Lumina. About 2 hours later, at 1:54 in the morning, Brandon's car ended up stuck in a ditch along a gravel road. He wasn't hurt, and the car wasn't damaged. It just couldn't get back on the road. He tried to call some friends first, but nobody picked up, so, like any of us would do, he called his parents, Brian and Annette. He told them what happened and asked them to come pick him up. He said he believed he was near the town of Lind, just a few miles southwest of Marshall. His parents got in their truck and headed that way. They kept Brandon on the phone while they drove. As they searched the area, something strange happened. Brandon said he could see their headlights. He insisted they were close, really close. But Brian and Annette couldn't see him. They flashed their brights. Nothing. They honked. No response. They drove up and down the gravel roads in the area, retracing their steps. Still nothing. Brandon remained adamant. "I can see you." After a while, Brandon said he was getting frustrated and told his dad he was going to walk to Lind and meet them at the parking lot of a local bar in town. He said he could see lights in the distance and would walk toward them. His dad said okay and agreed to stay on the phone while Brandon walked. And so, for the next 47 minutes, Brandon and his dad kept talking. Brandon sounded normal, calm. He described the path he was on. At one point, he mentioned he was walking along a fence line, possibly near some fields. There was no panic in his voice. His dad later said he sounded like he knew where he was going. It was just a late-night misadventure, no big deal. But then, at exactly 2:30 a.m., something changed. In the middle of a sentence, Brandon abruptly said, "Oh, and then the call went silent. His dad kept talking, asking if he was okay, if he tripped or dropped the phone. But Brandon never responded. The line stayed open for a few seconds, then went dead. That was the last anyone ever heard from him. Brian and Annette kept calling Brandon's phone over and over again, and for a while, it rang. The signal was live. It didn't go to voicemail right away. It just kept ringing. They waited for him in the parking lot he mentioned. They drove the roads again. They stayed up all night. And at 6:30 in the morning, they contacted the police and reported him missing. The initial police response was what you'd expect, and not in a good way. Brandon was an adult. Maybe he was mad. Maybe he was drunk and passed out in someone's yard. Maybe he just didn't want to be found. But his parents pushed hard. They knew their son. This wasn't like him. He wasn't impulsive. He wasn't dramatic. He was dependable, responsible. This wasn't a kid who vanished for attention. Finally, authorities pinged Brandon's cell phone to get a more accurate location. That's when the story took a surreal turn. Brandon hadn't been anywhere near Lind. In fact, he had been off by more than 20 miles. The cell tower placed him near the small town of Porter, northwest of his hometown, and in a completely different direction than he had told his parents. This explained why they never found him. He wasn't anywhere near where he said he was. Whether he was confused, disoriented, or something else was going on, no one knows. Search teams were sent to the Porter area. Very quickly, they found Brandon's car. It was exactly as he described, stuck in a shallow ditch off a gravel road. The vehicle wasn't damaged, and there were no signs of a struggle. Nothing looked suspicious. They brought in scent tracking dogs, who followed what they believed was Brandon's path. The dogs traced his scent along gravel roads, through grassy fields, and toward the yellow Medicine River. And then the trail vanished, right at the edge of the riverbank. Some people believed he fell in and drowned, but the river was shallow in parts, and it was searched thoroughly, multiple times. Divers, sonar, cadaver dogs. Nothing turned up. Not his body, not his clothes, not even his phone. And again, The phone kept ringing for days after the disappearance, which suggested it hadn't been submerged in water immediately or destroyed. It was still on, somewhere. So, what happened? What caused him to suddenly say, "Oh, shh," and go silent? Did he fall? Did he run into something or someone? Was there an animal? Did he step wrong and injure himself, unable to respond? Was there a flash flood, a sinkhole, a hidden hazard in the dark? Or did someone else find him before the search teams did? There's one detail that still haunts people. Brandon thought he saw his parents' headlights, but he wasn't anywhere near them. Whose headlights did he see? Did he actually see lights at all? Could he have seen a different car? Could someone else have seen him? And then there's that final moment. It wasn't panicked. It wasn't screamed. His dad said it sounded like a sudden realization. Maybe he tripped and fell. Maybe he saw something unexpected. But whatever it was the last thing anyone heard from him. After Brandon's disappearance, his parents turned their grief into advocacy. They worked with state legislators to pass Brandon's law in Minnesota, which now requires police to take missing adult reports more seriously and act quickly, especially in suspicious or unexplained cases. It was a powerful step forward, but it didn't bring their son home. As of today, Brandon Swanson has never been found. No remains, no belongings, no confirmed sightings. The case is still open, still active, and still just as chilling as it was in 2008. Some people believe he drowned. Others think he collapsed in the fields somewhere that was never searched. Others suspect foul play. And then there are the more bizarre theories that he was picked up by a stranger or saw something he wasn't supposed to, that he walked into something not from this world. Whatever the truth is, it's still out there, hidden beneath the silence of that phone line, waiting in the dark, just past the edge of the road,